A girl was working in the kitchen, cleaning the dishes, when she suddenly heard the voice of a street vendor selling clothes from outside. Curious, she immediately stopped what she was doing, rushed to her balcony, and called out to the young man, asking him to come upstairs. The vendor looked up and responded politely, "All right, ma'am, I'm coming up." The girl waited by her door. A few moments later, the vendor climbed the stairs, and she welcomed him inside. The young man hesitated for a second, unsure if he should enter, but the girl insisted, saying, "Come inside. I want to choose clothes comfortably." Eventually, the vendor stepped into her home. As he entered, she shut the door behind him and asked him to sit on the floor and show the clothes. The vendor nodded, but before displaying anything, he looked a bit tired and said, "Ma'am, I've been walking around in the sun all day. My throat is dry. Could I please have a glass of water?" The girl smiled and went to the kitchen. She brought him a glass of water, which he drank gratefully. Then he looked at her and said, "Actually, ma'am, I wanted to ask you something." "Sure, go ahead," the girl replied. "Is there no one else at home right now?" She replied casually, "No, I'm alone. Why do you ask?" The vendor smiled and made up an excuse while complimenting her house. The girl smiled and said, "All right, show me your saris first." The vendor began pretending to display different saris. As she looked through them, he casually asked, "So, what does your husband do?" Without hesitation, the girl replied, "He's a doctor, but why do you want to know?" "Oh no, ma'am, I was just asking." They continued looking at clothes. After a few moments, the vendor spoke again. "If your husband is a doctor, he must earn quite well." The girl nodded confidently. "Yes, he earns in lakhs every month, but you also must earn decently selling clothes, right?" The vendor chuckled and said, "Well, I get by. But where is your husband right now?" "He's on vacation with his friends," she replied. "That's why I'm alone at home today." After bargaining, the girl finally chose one sari worth 2,500 rupees and paid him. As the vendor stood up to leave, he suddenly turned and asked, "Ma'am, do you know me?" She frowned slightly. "No, why?" He smiled, but his tone grew serious. "Then how come you told a complete stranger like me everything about your life? Your husband's job, his income, the fact that you're home alone? What if I wasn't just a vendor? What if I robbed you right now, took your money, your jewelry, and walked out? What could you do? You don't even know my name or where I come from." The girl stood silent, stunned. The vendor continued, "You've never seen me before, never noticed me in this street, yet you invited me into your home and gave me every bit of personal information, without even thinking." Then, with a slight smile, he said, "But don't worry, ma'am, I'm not a thief. I'm a sub-inspector from the crime branch." The girl's eyes widened in shock. He continued, "We've been getting many reports of thefts like these in this area, so I'm working undercover to make people more aware, so they don't fall into traps. Today I just wanted to show you how easily someone can take advantage." And with that, he left.